Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da-da. Welcome to week 10 of the TK Breakdown,
Woohoo!
where we impart our deep, thoughtful wisdom to all you viewers out there.
To the football nation.
To the football nation, yes, because it's the football nation who watches this show. And let you know how to make picks in the week.
Because we did so well last year.
Yeah, we did. We did
Awesome.
we did terrible. I don't know what I'm saying. I was so depressed at my week this week. I didn't even look to see what the standings were. But we should congratulate the winner.
Congratulations, Joshua. You made fantastic picks.
Fantastic picks. Which brings us on to pick of the week, at least in my opinion, which is Josh's pick of the Tennessee Titans over the Miami Dolphins.
That was a good pick.
There was a runner-up in my mind.
Yeah, because that pick wasn't as good as
Well,
the Cincinnati New York Giants pick. Now
that was a good pick. But I can't, in good conscience, give pick of the week to the loser of the week. I have to
Which,
give
by
pick
the
of
way,
the
I
week to the winner of the
share
week.
that title.
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
I did not make any good picks. Well, I have to say my New Orleans pick was pretty good.
Your New Orleans pick was a good pick.
But just to let you know, I told everybody New Orleans was in a must-win situation, and they were going to fight for that position.
They did too. It was
They want to go to the playoffs like every other team.
You know what? For the last 3 weeks, I've been thinking somebody is going to pick off the doggone Atlanta Falcons, and
the
one week I didn't take the opposing team against the Falcons is the week that they go down. So they're back to playing Atlanta football.
Who? Somebody else picked New Orleans. Was it Josh?
I think it might have been Josh. I can't remember who, but a couple people picked New Orleans. I know that.
No, only 2 people picked New Orleans. It was
That's what I
me
said.
and Josh.
I said a couple.
Right.
But anyways, congratulations to Josh, and you and I need to do better.
Right, yeah. Which brings us on to the biggest loser. Who do you think the biggest loser is this week? Other than us.
The biggest loser for this week is Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher of the St. Louis Rams had 2 opportunities to beat the San Francisco 49ers outright, which would have made my football week to see Jim Harbaugh with his tail tucked between his legs scampering off the football field, knowing that he had just got his clock cleaned, but no.
Hey, a tie is still pretty good.
It's a tie, yeah. But you know what? It's not as good as a win. And the St. Louis Rams won that game. They won that game.
Yeah.
And instead, like I said, they had at least 2 opportunities to put them away and got called back for penalties or some stupid thing that was a discipline issue with their team, and they ended up having to settle for the tie. So, in my mind, Jeff Fisher's the biggest loser.
I don't know if I can agree with that. This St. Louis, that's a big win in my mind for the St. Louis Rams. To be in last place in your division and take the number 1 team in your division and put them in their place with a tie away in their own home. That wasn't... St. Louis Rams weren't playing in St. Louis. They were playing in San Francisco. Well, yeah. They showed San Francisco that they're not as good as they think they are.
Well, I've said that all along right here on the TK Breakdown, that we know that Jim Harbaugh, as well as Norv Turner...
St. Louis showed the world what we've been telling you for 11 weeks now.
That's right. That is correct. Anyways, moving on to...
next week's football.
Which,
upset special. And I have to say, I did not make an upset special last week, which I think affected my outcome
your goodwill.
This week. Yeah.
Your goodwill.
And, I'm going to impart my wisdom.
The football nation imparted
I'm going to let people in on the secret. I don't make my upsets based on deep technical information such as the Green Bay Packers are 13th in the league with their offense. I base my upsets totally on emotion. And this week's is no exception. My upset special for this week is the Bears, the Chicago Bears. I think they can beat the 49ers. And it's mostly because if the Bears win, then my pick'em pools do much better. If the Bears lose, then I'm happy for the Green Bay Packers because that puts them closer to first in the NFC North.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's some wisdom for everybody. Make your upsets based emotionally, purely emotionally.
All I can say to the football world is don't fall for TK2's line of BS because the whole reason he's taking the Bears is because Alex Smith is out with a concussion. So that actually gives the Bears the edge.
They are still 5-point favorites.
Oh, well, so much emotion went into that pick. Yeah, the starting quarterback just happens to be out with a concussion. Okay, well, all right. Well, I'm going to make a real upset.
What's your upset?
I'm going to make a real upset
Right.
special, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I am going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Remember, I picked Cincinnati this last week to beat the New York Football Giants and nailed it.
No,
but
you
the
didn't.
Chiefs, yes, Cincinnati
You
beat
did.
the New York Football Giants, and I am taking the Chiefs this week to beat the Bengals. Why? Because they showed that they still got game. They played a decent game against Pittsburgh last night.
In overtime. It went to overtime. It was a good game.
And so
I didn't watch it.
That team hasn't given up. Not that the Bengals have given up, but they're still fighting for a victory, and this could bring them up out of the basement, which would be a good thing. I like Romeo Crennel as a football coach. He's a Bill Belichick protege. Not that I like Bill Belichick. He obviously, Crennel didn't pick up on the whole cheating thing.
He picked up on the whole winning thing,
Yeah.
which is the most important thing to pick up on.
Right. Another thing to look out for, the key injury this week, is that, well, you probably wouldn't have picked them anyways. The Eagles are playing the Redskins, which is a division game, be a big game. But Michael Vick is out with what Andy Reid called a significant concussion. So he may or may not play. I would bet he's probably not going to play.
They're required to not play the week they get a concussion.
No, they're required to be evaluated.
Oh, yeah.
They have to go through and if they clear the evaluation process, then they can be cleared to play. But I would venture to say if he doesn't practice, probably not going to play in the game. So, Vic out. I would guess the Redskins are going to win that game.
They're only 3.5-point favorites still, even with Vic out. But that's not, it's not a huge leap to think Washington's going to beat Philadelphia. They're not doing that great this year.
That's true. Another key injury for me. Well, it may or may not be a key injury. It's a significant injury because he's a starter, and that's Brian Bulaga has been placed on injured reserve for the Green Bay Packers. He's the starting right tackle, so that just means for Football Nation that the offensive line for the Packers is going to be undergoing some shifting with players. The other significant thing about that is that Evan Dietrich Smith will be starting at left tackle, and that will kind of be a rematch of last year when he went up against Ndamukong Suh and got stomped for a huge. Suh got a huge fine, and there was a huge penalty on that play. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to watch the matchup. They're playing at the Lions.
Well, Green Bay has a bunch of starters out. Woodson's out.
Woodson is
Cedric
out.
Benson's out.
Bishop is out.
Clay Matthews. He might be probable this week, but he did get injured.
Yes, he did.
The week they had the week before the bye, so he's had a week to get better.
Hopefully, James Starks will be healthy enough to get back in there at running back, and they can spark some.
So, if you guys want to make an upset special and pick the Lions, that wouldn't be a bad pick. Wouldn't be a bad upset.
Have at it.
We will totally mock you for not supporting the Green Bay Packers, but
yeah, I did that once this year. I won't be doing that again. Okay, that's all I have as far as key injuries go. You already know about all the rest of the injuries. Key players that have gone out over the course of the season.
I think the San Diego Chargers Denver Broncos game is going to be a good game to watch.
I think it'll be good because it's
first place.
We're going to see Norv Turner go down in flames again.
Again?
Again.
Yeah, you really.
I'm predicting by the end of that game, maybe even by halftime, they will turn the reins over to Mike Holmgren.
And what the San Diego Chargers have been on a downhill spiral.
They have been. They got nobody left. All the players that were there when Norv took over, and he actually had something to work with, they're pretty much gone. LT's gone. Antonio Gates. He's still there. That's about the only guy. That and Phillip Rivers.
If they can't beat the Denver Broncos this next week, their season's over, in my opinion. They can't.
Did you watch the press conference?
It's a big game for them.
Did you watch the press conference with Norv?
No, I didn't.
Oh, there was a reporter that asked him a question about, how do you feel about your team and their will to win? Oh, man, and he went off on him. That's always a good sign that the coach is under a lot of pressure to win, and if he doesn't, his job's probably going to be gone. So I would bet, like I say, Mike Holmgren could take over by halftime next week. Oh, one more game I wanted to talk about before we bug out of here is that the Seahawks looked really good against the Jets. And, the Jets are not playing really well this year. They're looking really bad. But the point is, they dismantled them. It was not even a close game. Russell Wilson looked really good. Their defense played phenomenal. Seattle's pretty good this year.
It's hard for me to get behind Seattle this year because we all know they should be 5-5 and not 6-4.
But they are 6-4.
But we know they should be 5-5 because of the whole Green Bay fiasco.
Yeah, that's true. The Hail Mary.
Like I said, it's hard for me to get behind Seattle this year because of that.
I'm kind of behind them. They're playing good football.
They are,
I don't really like Pete Carroll.
I'm not saying that they're not
but
playing
I like
good
Pete
football.
Carroll way more than I like Norv or Jim.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Anyways, I think that's all I got for this week's football.
That's that's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Well, I'm TK1.
Well, before we bug out of here, we should remind people to call.
Yeah.
I always put the
You
phone
can
number.
find a notepad.
Find a notepad. Well, you don't have to really look for one because both me and my dad know that all the viewers out there have notepads in front of them, frantically putting down this wisdom we impart to them. So, yeah, write it down. Call us. Let us know what you think.
Michael Silver already called us. So he's got his picks. So you guys can... Some of you out there can check his picks now. And
speaking of Silver, there was a Silver who made a pick for the election. And I don't want to get into politics, but it seems Silvers make good picks. Because this Silver, I think his name was Michael Silver, who made this pick for the election. He picked the Electoral College perfectly. And I thought,
Did he really?
I know another Michael Silver who's pretty... Yeah, he did.
Am I going to have to call you out on that one?
You might have to. I don't think you'll be able to. But... All right. That's it for
I'm
the
TK1.
TK Breakdown. I'm TK2.
Out!